All right, if you've ever thought about teaching at a university in Nepal, listen up, because the way you get there is about to completely change. A huge new national rule is coming, and it's set to shake up the entire hiring process for lecturers. So, what's going on? Let's get into it. To really understand why this new rule is even a thing, we have to start with a pretty tough question. Has the system been failing? For a while now, there's been this growing feeling, these concerns, that the quality of a university education in Nepal has been, well, slipping. And it's that exact worry that has pushed the government to make a move. So, what was actually broken? To get to the heart of this new policy, we've got to take a hard look at the problems that were pretty deep-rooted in the old way of doing things. Okay, so the core issue, and this is coming from the University Grants Commission, was all about how teachers were hired. Instead of being a straight-up decision based on who was the most qualified, appointments were often, influenced by political connections and who you knew. It basically meant that the best candidate didn't always get the job. And that had a very real and very serious consequence. The source material says it pretty bluntly. The academic standard itself was declining. I mean, when hiring isn't based on merit, it's the quality of the teaching and the research that starts to suffer, and that directly hits thousands of students. So, faced with all these problems, the government has brought in what it's hoping will be a powerful solution. Let's dig into what this new qualification test is actually all about. It's called the National Qualification Test, and you can think of it as a new mandatory gatekeeper. From now on, just having a master's degree isn't going to be enough. If you want to teach, you're going to have to prove you're up to the task by passing this national exam first. This completely changes the game. So here's the new path. First, you finish your master's degree. Simple enough. Second, you have to pass this brand new qualification test. Only after you pass do you get a teaching license. And it's that license that finally makes you eligible to even apply to teach at a university. It's a much clearer, step-by-step, merit-based ladder. This slide just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? The contrast is stark. We're moving from a system that could be influenced by connections to one that's standardized and based purely on a test. The whole goal here is to level the playing field for everybody. Okay, so you might be wondering, where and when is this new rule actually going to take effect? Because this isn't some small trial program. Oh no, this is a massive, nationwide change with a specific start date and a huge scope. You can mark your calendars. The University Grants Commission has been clear that this new guideline is being implemented starting from the month of Shrawan, which is right around July and August. And the scope of this rule, well, it's massive. It covers all 13 of Nepal's federal universities. That's right, from the oldest and most famous ones to the newest institutions. And it doesn't stop there. It also applies to all 6 of the provincial universities, which makes sure there's a consistent standard being applied all across the country. And that means it covers every single one of the 1,432 university campuses in the nation. Doesn't matter if they are constituent, community, or privately run. This is a truly sweeping change. No one is left out. So with a policy this big, the real question is about the impact, right? What does the government actually hope is going to change because of this new teacher license? The hoped-for outcomes are really clear. The main goal is to attract more competitive and capable people into the teaching profession. And by doing that, they're hoping to seriously cut down on political influence. The big picture goal, of course, is to raise the whole standard of higher education. This also brings Nepal more in line with what other countries do. For example, India's national eligibility test has been a thing for university lecturers for decades. So this move kind of aligns Nepal with that same standard. And this brings us to the big question that's kind of hanging over this whole reform. The system is being put in place, the logic behind it seems solid, but will this license truly be the key to unlocking a higher quality of education for Nepal's students? The success of this policy won't really be measured by how many people pass an exam, but by the progress and innovation we start to see in classrooms all across the country. And that's going to be the ultimate test.